just lie and idly collect a paycheck while delivering lip service that is constantly contradictory and debasing herself in front of the entire nation with a chin held high. It is the most pathetic shit imaginable.
Good day. We are coming on the air with breaking news. President Trump has apparently fired his Attorney General, Pam Bondi, according to a senior administration official and a source familiar with the matter. This comes after NBC News learned that the president has grown frustrated with his Attorney General in recent days, according to multiple sources. This is a blow because she has been a very loyal sort of friend and ally of the president for a long time, going back to Florida.
I love how the reporters struggled to find the words to adequately describe her relationship with Trump, because friend and ally, loyal, that doesn't even really encapsulate it. She was a leech, an actual parasite, a fucking hemorrhoid, a pinworm, living deep inside the asshole of President Trump, more than willing to just suck the farts straight out of his butt. Like that, she was so
Bambini
deep in there,
crostini.
and I know she never thought that she would be thrown under the bus because of this level of NPC behavior from her. She was a full-blown drone. I don't think she has had an actual thought of her own in years, because she is just on cruise control, idly just going through the motions and delivering speeches and just constantly lying about the Epstein files being on her desk, by the way, which they're probably still there. She's just got to go in there and dust it off when she's collecting her things and leaving the office forever. And now that she has been thrown under the bus here, I have to imagine she's just sitting there fucking drooling blankly like the parents from Weapons after the spell gets broken on them. Pam's probably just stunned, catatonic in like a fucking fugue state, not sure what to do with herself. She threw everything away. Literally became a complete clown in front of the entire world, and now it didn't pay off. She wasn't able to just endlessly coast off being this bot.
Assisting in the first Trump term. And this, in many ways, comes down to a representation of the frustration that President Trump has, that his vision for how he could exact retribution against political rivals and those who had, in his perception, done him wrong at some past point, to be brought to justice. That has not happened, even though this Department of Justice under Pam Bondi has attempted to do so in a number of areas where we've seen the failed attempts to prosecute James Comey or Letitia James.
Failure really is the only word that can appropriately describe Pam Bondi's entire career. Everything she has ever attempted to do here during her time as Attorney General has been a complete and utter failure. And now, the person that she was huffing farts like they were oxygen is throwing her to the side. Like, Woody, I no longer want to play with you. And now what, Pam? And now what?
Then there's the broader issue of the Epstein files. There was a moment where Pam Bondi, who in the journey of her time as Attorney General has been both loyal but has also committed some self-inflicted errors. She talked about having the so-called Epstein list on her desk, and that never materialized. She had led people to believe there would be more coming on Epstein. And then initially last summer, the Department of Justice said the files would be closed. There was no action to be taken.
And we're still currently in that circus whirlwind. Pam Bondi will always be mocked and looked at as the clown that she is. That being said, better late than never. I'm glad she is finally fired. That is wonderful news. Yes, it should have happened sooner, but it's still good that it's here now. Though I don't think her replacement is going to be a huge improvement. It's Todd Blanche. Todd Blanche is someone I've already shot spitballs at because this guy openly just talks about how there most likely will never be a further Epstein investigation into the clients. He also famously had that wonderful little segment where he said it's not a crime to party with Epstein.
Is there any chance that any of these individuals who partied with Epstein and engaged in relations with minors will be prosecuted?
Well,
Any
look,
chance?
I'll never say no, and we will always investigate any evidence of misconduct. But as you know, it is not a crime to party with Mr. Epstein, and so as horrible as it's not a crime to email with Mr. Epstein. And some of these men may have done horrible things, and if we have evidence that allows us to prosecute them, you better believe we will. but it's also the kind of thing that the American people need to understand, that it isn't a crime to party with Mr. Epstein. It isn't a crime to have
Didn't look like that's all that was going on some of those photos. I mean, if the photos could speak, some of them look pretty bad.
That's right. And unfortunately, photos can't speak. And so we need witnesses and we need
Are there videotapes that you all have? Or?
For the millionth time, yes, there are videos. Also, Todd Blanche mentions the witnesses and stuff, but they don't really seem to want to talk to the victims overly often. That seems to be an area they're not super gung-ho about gathering information from the potential victims that have come forward. Todd Blanche is not someone I put a lot of faith in doing a better job as Attorney General, but I will say it would be hard for him to do a worse job than Pam Bondi. And he is not shy about just letting you know that they don't really plan on doing a whole lot with the Epstein case. There's another clip that he has become infamous for where he's pretended he didn't understand the question when asked about like the abusers in the Epstein files, that kind of thing. So Todd Blanche, not exactly looking like a superstar to really start pumping your fist about, but doesn't mean we can't celebrate Pam Bondi being fired. But anyway, just wanted to yap about this and say, bye Pam, enjoy retirement. Anyway, that's really about it. See ya. I saw 2 videos today that really had me salivating to yap. The first one is an unruly customer whose entitlement is infuriating, and she squared off against an employee at Sonic who was just having none of that nonsense.
Give me the receipt.
I don't have a receipt.
Then you can't get it. I need the receipt.
Okay. I shop in here. I should come here every day. So you're telling me some bullshit, Andrew.
Now, we don't have the previously on Dragon Ball Z explanation for what's led up to this. She starts filming in the middle of the confrontation. He's double fisting cups here. He's got 4 cups stacked on top of each other like they're fucking Lego bricks here. I'm assuming he confiscated them from this woman, who then goes back to this bench showcasing she's still got oodles more. She's got a whole collection here. And a couple of them seem to be kind of contaminated with what looks to be dirt and flies. So I think they're really old cups. I believe what's happened here, and this is just a hunch here, a little game theory. I believe she goes to Sonic with old cups in order to get free refills on drinks, because the employees would think that, oh, she's got a cup, thus she must have made this purchase, and she treats herself to these free beverages by using these ancient relics that she's probably had for years. She mentions point blank that she goes there every day, and I'm assuming she's always traveling with the One Piece here, all of these cups, and today she encountered the Zen Master, Andrew, who hit him with the Matumbo, no, 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 no. He put the kibosh on it. And you can hear him say in the beginning, show me your receipt. If you don't show me the receipt, you can't get, and then he starts, and I think he was saying refill, I believe. So I'm pretty confident that's what's happening here. Andrew is not playing ball with this garbage here. He's not letting her just go in and just fill up these old fucking cups there at the beverages for free. And now she's making a huge stink about it. And she is recording this herself with no shame at all, believing that she's in the right, which is always just baffling to me that delusion like this exists.
I'm gonna call corporate and I'm gonna send this video.
You think I give a fuck?
Okay.
Like,
Andrew.
genuinely, like, you
Okay.
think I give a fuck? Like,
Okay.
honestly, like,
First of all,
record
he
this,
brings me the
record
wrong
this,
cups of cup.
record this.
I'm recording it.
Shut the fuck up.
Okay.
Hold on, now you're getting out of line.
I love that the other dude chimes in. Wait a minute, wait now, you've gone too far, you've crossed the line. How dare you say, shut the fuck up to this angel over here who's hooting and hollering about no longer getting free drinks from these old cups she keeps fucking bringing in here. Andrew is 100% in the right. Even if I'm not 100% correct on like the actual situation here, I think her attitude is just so fucking awful. I hate that level of entitlement. I'm gonna call corporate. Ooh, oh no, she's alting. Like, come on, get the fuck out of here. I love how Andrew handled it. Just uncaring. I don't care. Shut up. Leave. Like, that's the way you have to sometimes handle people like this. It's really the only way. She threatens his job, Andrew hits her with one of these, and he is just not taking any of this horseradish, and he shouldn't. I cannot stand people that berate and harass and exploit employees working in the customer service field. I know I talk about this all the time, but it is just so low. It is just so shameful to act like this woman here. I hate this shit. Dude, pranksters, I know I make fun of them till the cows come home when they do things like this to insult and treat these employees like props. And it's just refreshing to see Andrew's attitude during this interaction, just shutting this shit down right away, not playing ball with it at all. And I can only hope that he doesn't lose his job for it. This video blew up, so I'm hoping he doesn't like get fired or something, because there is a reason why employees don't often, put customers in their place like this, because there is a fear of them losing their job. So in most cases, employees grit their teeth and just bear it. Just take the verbal abuse from these unruly assholes, these fucking degenerate customers. Anyway, I just wanted to commend Andrew here for this. This was a banger response to her, Karen freak out moment here over what I
No. Son a veces unas capuchas.
Mira, mira,
¿Cómo a usted
mira,
le gusta?
este vato es famoso. Mira, mira, no, deja grabo. Mira, este vato es el famoso, el de los videos.
Oye, pero no grites, güey.
No puedo creerlo. A ver, ¿eres el verdadero? ¿Es neta? Espera, ¿puedo tomar un video?
A ver, tómalo.
A ver, a la bestia, no, espérame, voy a prender la luz.
A ver, ¿qué quieres que diga?
Que me mandes un saludo para mí.
A ver.
A ver, espera, fuck, no puedo creerlo. ¿Ubicas al Tomochio?
Sí, ¿por qué?
Soy prima del Tomochio.
Ah, ¿neta?
Sí, cura.
Pregúntale por mí, es camarada. Es amigo de hace mucho tiempo.
¿De hace mucho tiempo?
Sí, lo conocí hace como 3 años.
¿Cómo andas, Luchi? ¿Cómo andas?
Nada, aquí ando buscando.
No puedo creer. Mira que estás comiendo. Hachiro.
Ando buscando pareja, no.
Ando buscando pareja. ¿Y qué pasó? El Julito hace poquito estaba aquí en Tijuana.
¿Haciendo?
Estaba aquí, pues no, rebeldes tocaron aquí en Tijuana.
Ahí andas en el show.
Ajá.
¿Se puso perro?
Ay,
no?
déjate enseño, perdón.
A ver.
Sí, que fue mi cota. Güey, el lonche, güey.
¿Qué tranza, Lonchito?
Niño.
Saludos.
Saludos, compadre. Me escuché solo. Qué sujeto tan agradable. Ok.
No manches, güey.
¿Estás acostado en el piso?
Sí, estoy en el piso.
¿Por qué, pa?
Pues estaba haciendo ejercicio y me cansé.
¿Y te metiste aquí a mitotear o qué?
Sí, a huevo, aquí en Estados Unidos, a ver qué sale, ¿me entiendes?
No estamos en Estados Unidos, me parece que estamos en México, güey.
No, aquí le puse como Estados Unidos, según yo. Según yo.
Qué raro, Ok.
¿Andas en directo o qué?
Que voy a andar en directo, pues ya no, yo me retiré de esa madre.
¿No andas en directo?
No, pa. Gracias por contestar. Ahítale. Hey, niña. ¿Qué show?
Manda.
¿Tú
haces TikTok?
TikTok? No, ¿por qué? Yo TikTok no hago.
¿Manda?
Yo TikTok no hago, te digo.
Creo que sí.
Yo te conozco.
¿De dónde me conoces?
De por ahí.
¿Me has visto por ahí o qué?
Sí, te he visto por ahí.
Andas bien arreglada, ¿para dónde vas? ¿Qué pedino?
No, pues vengo de trabajar.
Ay, ¿no vas a salir hoy?
No,
¿No vas a salir en Semana Santa?
no,
¿Por?
¿por qué no?
¿No tienes ningún morrillo por ahí que te saque a pasear?
No, no hay.
No te creo esa mentira yo.
En serio, te lo juro, ahorita no hay.
¿Y cuándo se había? ¿Hace cuánto fue tu última relación?
Hace como 7 meses por ahí.
Pues ya, mija, ya es porque tuvieras otro por ahí.
¿Y tú?
Yo, no, tengo un chingo.
¿Cómo cuánto?
Yo tengo 3 viejas y las 3 yo las mantengo. No me dan
¿A
lata, de
poco
hecho.
sí?
No me dan
Muy
lata
de la
porque...
canción.
Ándale de cuenta.
Hace rato la estaba escuchando.
Así yo soy como... Sí sabes que esa canción me la hicieron a mí, ¿verdad?
¿Sí, no?
Sí, esa.
Ah, ok.
Entonces no vas a salir ni el sábado, ni el viernes, ni el domingo, pues.
No, no voy a
¿Y
salir.
de qué parte eres? Yo te puedo ayudar a conseguirte un pretendiente ahí. ¿De dónde eres? ¿De dónde
Soy
eres?
ahorita ando en Ensenada.
Ensenada. Vamos, te puedo conseguir
De Tijuana, Ensenada.
te puedo conseguir un pretendiente por ahí.
Pues ya estuviérate, porque la neta nomás me la paso trabajando.
No, a ver, pues sígueme ahí tu Insta. Yo te voy a conseguir un pretendiente perro.
A ver, pues.
Te vas a chambear, te vas a sacar.
Arre, pues, vamos
Neta,
a ver.
tú confía en mí, tú confía en mí, tú confía en mí.
Ok. Ahí está, mira.
Shitty, son 2 guión bajo, ¿va? Me imagino.
Sí.
Ok. Fierro Fly. Bueno, te voy a conseguir un perro. Ahí te manda mensaje ahorita.
Ok, pues.
Sale, vale. Cuídate mucho, niña.
Bye.
Bye.
Lonche.
¿Qué chopa? ¿Qué chopa?
Nah, no eres tú.
Pues qué ver, pues entonces no soy yo. Qué guapa, mi mamá. Pétale.
¿Qué rollo, Lonche?
¿Qué show? Ah, cabrón. Comadre. Comadre, viejito. Comadre, se le volteó el ojo. Ay, hombre. Es que no tiene internet, no tiene internet.
¿Todo bien? ¿Haces stream?
No. Voy a aprender stream apenas. Ando grabando un video ahí, pero lo voy a recortar, así que no te preocupes. Esto no va a
qué
salir
chido.
todavía. ¿De dónde eres? ¿De dónde eres?
Pues de Culiacán, pero ya no vivo ya.
¿Y dónde vives ahorita? Tijuana. ¿Dónde?
Hermosillo.
Ah. ¿Te fuiste por la guerra?
Ándale. No, Dios guarde, imagínate me roban allá.
No. Hay que cuidarse.
Exactamente. Lonche, mándame un saludo,
¿Para quién?
Para mí, Bianca Chang.
¿Bianca qué? Chan. Yo tengo un camarada que se llama Chan también, se pide Chan también.
También, qué curado, neta.
¿Cómo se llama? No sé cómo se llama, pero le dicen Chan también. ¿Quién será? A ver, Bianca Chan. Un saludito para Bianca Chan, ahí estamos al tiro. Adiós.
Lonche,
¿Qué chopa?
a la verga, ¿estás en directo, pa?
No, pa, ojalá.
Naces como...
Lonche.
Qué chopa, para que te vea bien, pues. Te habla esta muchacha, güey.
Hola.
Web.
Hola, Tiger.
Sí, te escucho bastante bien, güey.
¿Qué rollo? ¿Sí me escuchas?
Sí.
¿Qué pedo? ¿Cómo andas?
Bien, ¿y tú?
Y es de aquí de Tijuana, güey. ¿Tienes visa?
No, no tengo.
Valió verga.
No, pues sí.
No, pues sí valió verga. Bueno, en unos meses va a poder salir a verte. Todavía no puede.
¿Cómo te llamas?
¡Ey, vente, Tiger!
Que ahí te va a atender.
¿Cómo te llamas?
Me llamo Yatsiri.
Yo tengo su Instagram ya.
Yatsiri, Yamile. ¿Te acuerdas de canción?
Sí, ahí te va a atender.
No, pues sí, hay que armar algo.
¡Ey, sí, vente!
Tiger.
Me estás convenciendo.
Lo estás convenciendo, ¿eh?
No, pues que se vengan.
Pero me lo vas a tratar bien, pues.
Claro, yo te lo trato muy bien.
Vale, pues me va a venir. O sea, me va a lanzar, te digo.
Ok. Está bien, pero está bien, o sea, se vale, pues se vale.
¿Cuántos años tienes tú?
Yo tengo 20.
¿20 qué? 20.
Está perfecto, tiene 21.
Cerrado.
Ah, muy bien.
Pues
Va.
sí, ¿cuál es tu Insta?
Yo lo tengo, ahorita te lo
¿Ya
paso.
lo tienes?
Pero sígueme, Tiger. Soy tu fan, neta.
Sí, ahí te tiro follow. Ahí te
Sí,
tiro follow después.
Y
tírame.
mensajean, tal y todo.
Sí, que me mande mensaje, que nomás no diga.
Sí, te tiro DM, te tiro
Sí,
DM.
te va a tirar 10, te va a tirar 10.
Te voy a tirar DM.
Yo se lo voy a pasar, yo se lo voy a
DM,
pasar.
vamos, qué bonito.
Órale, cerrado.
¿Ves lo que hago por ti, güey?
Arre.
¿Ves lo que hago por ti, güey?
Bueno, pues mucho gusto.
Tus fantitos
A
me
retirar,
traban
me
el
paso a
celular,
retirar.
mucho mensaje.
Está bien. Me paso a despedir.
Sobres,
Ok,
mija,
pues,
estamos
va.
al tiro.
Bye.
Bye.
Cabrón, clase, güey.
Bien marihuano, amigo.
Todos me dicen eso y fíjate que no, güey.
No consumes nada.
No consumo nada, ni fumo, ni nada, hermano.
Es imposible, güey. Mira, allá arriba está el que observa todo, güey. No ocupas mentir.
No, fíjate que así es mi genética, así son mis ojos.
Tumbados, eres tumbado, pues.
Pues no soy tumbado, pero pues así son mis ojos, o sea, así los tengo. Y fíjate que tienen mucho pegue, sí jalan.
Los ojitos tumbados, jalan machín.
Jalan machín.
¿Qué te dicen?
Aunque no lo creas, güey.
Pero ¿qué?
No, pues que... Es que fíjate que en la vida real se ven más grandes que en la cámara. Entonces dicen que están bonitos.
Oh, tienes ojos grandes, pues.
O sea, no son tan grandes así como actor ni nada, pero sí se ven más grandes en la vida real que pues en la cámara.
Ah, y tiene machín pegue entonces el viejo. ¿De dónde eres?
¿Yo?
Simón, Aguascalientes.
Yo, no, de Monterrey.
Oye, ahora mi raro.
¿Lonche de huevito?
¿Qué chopa?
La mamada. ¿Qué pedo, güey?
Ey, ¿tú eres, ¿de dónde eres, pa?
De Tijuana, güey.
Ah, pensé que estabas acá de otro lado.
Güey. La mamada, ¿puedo tomar una captura, güey?
Sí, güey, pues tómala, pa, no hay pedo.
Ah, verga. Todos los pinches días te guacho, güey, qué loco, güey.
Ajá, pues para que veas donde me fuiste a encontrar, pariente.
¿Dónde andas?
Pues aquí en Los Ángeles, mijo, no hay nada más que hacer, güey.
A la verga, no puedo creer que te encontré.
Oye, pa, ¿eres lo que, Macu, o no?
Ah, no. Yo soy un tumbado, boy.
¿Eres tumbado, boy?
De hecho, traigo el mismo estilo que tú, o sea, de...
Así tumbado, pues tumbadón.
O oversize, así. Sí.
Ah, oversize, pues, oversize guy, pues. Compadre, ese vato lleva toda la noche ahí, güey, no sé qué busca, güey. Ah, punterillo.
¿Qué rollo?
El show, pa. ¿Te mandaban para la guerra qué?
¿Cómo que para la guerra?
No, pues, no sé, ¿a qué se debe tu outfit?
¿El lonche no?
Parecido a soy su hermano, güey.
No, hermano, es pa.
Ey, ¿a qué se debe tu outfit, pa? Se te van a pasar las rápidas.
¿Qué haciendo? ¿Qué pa? No voy a
Ay.
aquí tranquilón.
¿Y a qué se debe tu outfit, pa?
Normal, a mí me gusta andar.
Ah, ok.
Compadre.
Capuchino asesino.
Este morro, güey.
¿Qué pedo,
No
güey,
tiene nada
tú?
que hacer el alito, güey.
¿Qué pedo, qué haces?
Nada, güey, lo mismo que tú, güey.
Bichando morras.
No, güey, te mato, güey. ¿No tiene nada que hacer o qué, güey?
Güey, ¿cuándo te echas una vuelta para acá, para Guadalajara, güey?
No creo que yo vaya pronto, güey. Me falta rato para ir porque tengo la pelea, pues.
Un antro, ojalá tú un antro.
Me falta, ya me falta poco.
Manda la verga el chat, un antrito.
¿Un antrito? Ah, sí, se amerita un antro.
Hace
chaval.
falta, güey.
Antrito y vacaciones de una semana es lo que me hace falta, güey, la neta.
Te lo mereces, güey.
Me lo merezco. La neta sí, pa.
Tienes mi... ¿Cómo se llama? Mi acreditación, güey, por fuerza.
La neta me lo merezco. Ahora
pues
pues.
sí,
No,
No, güey.
no puede ser.
Sí puede ser.
No, júramelo.
Te lo juro.
No,
Burrito
porque
bandito.
ahorita estoy desarreglada.
¿Por qué qué?
No es cierto.
Ajá. A ver, ¿qué tan desarreglada estás? A ver.
No, júramelo que eres tú.
Burrito bandito.
No, ¿cómo está rollo?
No sé.
A ver, déjame verte bien, pues.
No,
No, si no pones la cara, pues tengo que moverme, pues no puedo ver con quién estoy hablando, pues.
es que no.
Burrito bandito.
¿Te da pena?
Sí.
A ver, enseña, pues, enseña. Quiero...
Espera, tengo que ir por mi hermana.
¿Qué chopa? ¿Qué andas haciendo?
Nada.
¿Que ya no rostro?
¿Estás en stream?
Ojalá. Ya me voy para chambear algún día de estos. Volveré.
Güey, te amo.
Yo más.
¿Qué onda?
Cero, aquí
¿Cómo
nomás.
estás?
Muy bien.
Me alegro.
¿Cómo están? Nada, aquí tirando rostro.
¿Estás en stream, verdad?
Ojalá, ojalá.
No.
Pronto haré, pronto. Pronto voy a hacer uno.
¡Ay, no! ¡Te estamos buscando!
¿Y cómo me estaban buscando? No entiendo.
No, pues, queremos error.
Cholo, despiértese.
¿Qué quieres?
Pues platicar contigo, güey. Hasta te me viste bien guapo y pues quiero hablar contigo, pa.
Okay, give me your watch and I'll talk.
Verga, ¿me tira a culiar o qué? ¿Te vas a sacar culiar y te doy el reloj o qué?
No, déjame el culiado.
¿Qué show, pa?
¿Todo bien?
¿Haciendo?
Con lo Epi.
Está perro tus lentes, pa, me gustan.
Gracias, padre. Me compré hace poco. De Argentina, vos, de México, ¿no?
Me imaginé que eras de Argentina, sí.
Vos de México.
Sí, a huevo. ¿Cómo crees que supe que eras de Argentina? A ver.
No nada. Ni idea, boludo.
Casi no se le notaba a chat. A la verga, güey. Tiene un tremendo narizón el hijo de su puta madre. Tiene féminas, güey.
Lunchi.
Lunchi.
Soy tu fan. Lunchi. Soy tu fan, güey. Espérate, niño. No me quites.
A ver, rápido.
Mira. No me quites, espérate.
Tienes 3 segundos, córrele.
Mira.
Si no es del gordo, no puedo
¡Papalote!
de mi amado. ¿Quién? Es el del Tiger a huevo.
Chiclete
¡Qué
Irina,
show,
bicicleta
compadre!
Irina.
¡Qué chopa!
No, nada, todo chido. ¿Qué andan haciendo qué?
Arre, trucha pa.
¿Dónde está mi hermano?
¿Qué? El Tiger ya se va, pa.
Sí. ¿Cómo anda o qué? ¡Carnal! ¿Cómo anda, carnal?
¿Dónde eres, pa?
De Monterrey.
Al tiro, pa.
Cuídense, mándame saludos.
Un saludo, pa. ¿Para quién, verga?
Gerson Herrera.
Saludo pa' Gerson, pa. Estamos al tiro.
Saludos.
Girafa celeste.
You're fired. Pam Bondi is officially out as Attorney General, and Tulsi Gabbard, she might actually be next on the chopping block. There had been some murmurs, some speculation, but Trump announced on Truth Social today that he axed Bondi. You've got reports already rolling in that he plans on replacing her with Lee Zeldin, the administrator of the EPA. And this is absolutely huge news. I mean, we're talking about one of Trump's biggest proponents and attack dogs, someone who's gone to bat for him countless times and weaponized the DOJ for him in ways that we've truly never seen before. But it also isn't the most surprising because Trump's been souring on Bondi for a while now, with his biggest complaints being the way that she handled the Epstein files, which makes sense because the whole thing's been a shit show no matter how you look at it. And actually, to that point, the timing here is incredibly notable because it comes just before Bondi's expected to give a deposition to the House Oversight Committee after being subpoenaed over the Epstein files. Though her firing shouldn't change any of that, with the committee's ranking member saying in a statement that she is still legally obligated to appear. And then beyond that, as far as Trump's problems with her, he reportedly didn't think that she'd been aggressive enough in targeting his political opponents. And that's something he's been grumbling about for months. But he was especially angry with the Justice Department because he couldn't get a win against the former FBI Director James Comey in the New York Attorney General Tish James, though that wasn't for a lack of trying. Right? It activates the part of my brain when I'm watching some Real Housewives over my wife's shoulder, even though I said I wanted to watch something else and I didn't want to really watch this, but I'm kind of watching it, and oh my god, it's 3 hours later. According to the Daily Mail, her firing was messy as fuck, with them reporting that Bondi begged Trump not to fire her in an explosive showdown at the White House after he accused her of an unforgivable offense. And they added that when Trump told her she had been terminated, Bondi responded by pleading for the president to give her more time in the role. And as far as the unforgivable offense that the Daily Mail is referencing there, you had them claiming Trump's reasoning for the sudden dismissal comes in part because the president believes Bondi tipped off Eric Swalwell about the FBI's efforts to release investigative documents related to his relationship with an alleged Chinese spy. But despite all that, Trump's generally been in Bondi's corner publicly. And in fact, when asked for a statement after rumors of her firing first started circulating last night, Trump literally responded, "Attorney General Pam Bondi is a wonderful person and she is doing a good job." And even in his post announcing her termination, Trump described Bondi as a great American, patriot, and a loyal friend who faithfully served as my Attorney General over the past year. We love Pam. And in her own statement, there wasn't any sign of begging or pleading, just her announcing that she was leaving the role and then patting herself on the back for her great accomplishments before closing by saying, "I remain eternally grateful for the trust that President Trump placed in me to make America safe again." Now, as far as what happens from here, unlike what we've seen with other top loyalists who Trump got rid of, it appears that Bondi's not just gonna be reshuffled to some lesser consolation prize job in his administration. And instead, you had Trump saying she will be transitioning to a much needed and important new job in the private sector to be announced at a date in the near future. Which to me, I think if you read through the line, sounds like that's him putting boot to ass, get her out the door, and he probably really doesn't care. But he also added that Deputy Attorney General Todd Blanche is gonna serve as acting Attorney General for now. Right? It doesn't look like he'd be transitioning into that role permanently. Instead, what we're seeing is that Trump's planning to tap EPA Administrator Lee Zeldin as Bondi's replacement. And if that name doesn't ring any bells, Zeldin's a former Republican congressman from New York who unsuccessfully ran for governor. And he's also, and this is more important, a dedicated Trump foot soldier in his position at the EPA, doing the work to enact Trump's plans for energy dominance. But also today, it doesn't look like it's just Bondi on the chopping block, because there's also a report from The Guardian saying that Trump is polling his advisors about whether he should replace Tulsi Gabbard as Director of National Intelligence. And here, his big issue is reportedly that she refused to condemn Joe Kent, right, the former deputy who resigned days after arguing that Iran didn't pose an imminent threat to the U.S., with Trump kind of giving her lukewarm support in a statement over the weekend when he was asked if he has confidence in her leadership, saying, and this is a quote, "Yeah, sure, I mean, she's a little bit different in her thought process than me, but that doesn't make somebody not available to serve." Then you had her spokesperson, seemingly clinging on for dear life, responding, "Over the past 2 weeks, President Trump said both that he has confidence in the DNI and that she did well at her hearings before Congress. She remains committed to fulfilling the responsibilities the president placed in her." But there's also been a notable back and forth about Gabbard and her place within Team Trump since he came back into office. And some of the things that earned her public criticism, including a video that she recorded warning about the horrors of nuclear war after a visit to Hiroshima, or her testimony to lawmakers that Iran had not decided to build a nuclear bomb. Though others, it earned her support from Trump and his loyalists, like producing an official report asserting that Russia didn't try to boost Trump's campaign in 2016 against Hillary Clinton. Now, what I will say is at this point, any word on Gabbard, it's largely just rumor, but it does come as Trump's been making other major shakeups in his cabinet. Just a few weeks ago, she's in the news for a different reason now, but DHS Secretary Kristi Noem, she was ousted and replaced with Mark Wayne Mullen. And so now with this Bondi news, I mean, anyone in there who has even the slightest doubt about how much Trump likes them, they should be quaking in their lifts. Right? And so we're gonna have to keep our eyes on this going forward. But also, I will say, while leadership of some of our biggest departments in the government, they're in limbo, Trump's still making assurances that no one's buying. Because according to him, the war in Iran, it's gonna be over in just 2 or 3 more weeks. He just has to send them back to the Stone Age, and also he doesn't know if they'll agree to a deal or if he's gonna have to deliberately commit a war crime first. And he doesn't care if the Strait of Hormuz is opened, but it will be opened and prices will come back down even though they're not really going up. In Iran, they'll never be able to get a nuclear weapon even though we supposedly destroyed their ability to do so earlier, but also they're gonna get to keep almost 1,000 pounds of nuclear fuel. It's pretty much what we learned in Trump's first primetime address to the nation since the war began. In other words, we learned nothing. This was Trump's rambly tweets in a different format. Or I guess you could say we learned that more than a month into this whole thing, we still have no clear rationale for this war and no real endgame. But if there was one big overarching goal behind all this, now that they kind of threw out all the different reasons and solidified on one, a goal that Trump suggested to define both of his presidencies is that Iran must never have a nuclear weapon. With Trump saying at the beginning of his address,
"From the very first day I announced my campaign for president in 2015, I have vowed that I would never allow Iran to have a nuclear weapon."
And with that, Trump rehashed his criticism of the nuclear deal negotiated under Obama, and he repeated his claim that U.S. strikes in June had obliterated Iran's key nuclear site. But then, he also argued that in the months since, they had rebuilt their nuclear program, making clear they had no intention of abandoning their pursuit of nuclear weapons.
And their race for a nuclear bomb, a nuclear weapon like nobody's ever seen before. They were right at the doorstep.
There's no solid evidence that Iran was actively pursuing a nuclear weapon, and as far as we know, it would have taken them months or even years to do so if they wanted. That said, though, there is believed to be around 960 pounds of highly enriched uranium inside of the country, deep underground, but potentially within Iran's reach, and reportedly enough for 10 to 12 bombs. But then also with that, Trump appeared to rule out an operation to retrieve the material.
The nuclear sites that we obliterated with the B-2 bombers have been hit so hard that it would take months to get near the nuclear dust.
And there, I'll say he's not wrong. Getting in and out of a hostile country with almost half a ton of radioactive material would be an extremely risky, complex, and time-consuming mission. And Trump also noted that the U.S. is monitoring those sites via satellite and would attack if Iran attempted to access them. But if it is as he says, and he's leaving the material exactly where it was before the war started, when the alleged overarching goal of this war is preventing Iran from ever having a nuclear weapon, it begs the question of what the conflict will have accomplished on that front. Right? The administration's argument has basically been that it is already, or almost, depending on the day, eliminated Iran's ability to hide its nuclear program behind its conventional weapons capabilities. Which is why the specific objectives of this war that have emerged and more or less solidified over the past weeks include destroying Iran's navy and air force, missiles, and weapons factories. And with that last night, you had Trump insisting that these objectives are nearing completion.
Iran's navy is gone. Their air force is in ruins. Their leaders, most of them, terrorist regime they led, are now dead. Their command and control of the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps is being decimated as we speak. Their ability to launch missiles and drones is dramatically curtailed, and their weapons, factories, and rocket launchers are being blown to pieces.
But of course, Iran, they've been battered, but definitely not beaten. And while Trump, he continued to insist that the regime change had been inadvertently accomplished, claiming that the country is now being led by a less radical and much more reasonable group, it appears that the new supreme leader may only be more hardline and the Revolutionary Guards may only have more influence. And actually, regarding the country's military capabilities, you had a spokesperson pushing back against Trump's claims, saying, "Your intelligence on our military power and equipment is incomplete. You know nothing of our vast strategic capabilities. Do not assume you have destroyed our strategic missile production sites, long-range attack and precision drones, modern air defense systems, electronic warfare, or special equipment. Such assumptions will only deepen the quagmire you have fallen into. And adding the sites you think you hit are insignificant. Our strategic military production takes place at locations you do not know about and will never reach. Do not bother trying to count our missiles, drones, and strategic systems. You will be wrong and achieve nothing." And of course, this guy, he's probably downplaying the impact of US and Israeli strikes, but the fact does remain, Iran does continue to launch attacks across the region, with Israel, the UAE, and Saudi Arabia all responding to drone and missile strikes just today. And then on top of all that, the Strait of Hormuz is still mostly locked down. Although as far as Trump, he continued to try to play it off as a problem for other countries, even though he had said hours earlier that he would not agree to any ceasefire deal unless the waterway was open.
The United States imports almost no oil through the Hormuz Strait and won't be taking any in the future. We don't need it. We haven't needed it, and we don't need it. The countries of the world that do receive oil through the Hormuz Strait must take care of that passage. They must cherish it. They must grab it and cherish it. They can do it easily. We will be helpful, but they should take the lead in protecting the oil that they so desperately depend on.
But with that, of course, Trump is ignoring.
Warning, this video is intended for entertainment purposes only. Any actions in this video shall